Good to see everybody. All right, practice number 7 done. So we're close to halfway, and excited about the competitive toughness that I've seen from this team. Really excited about that. A lot of experience, obviously, coming back on defense, but man, we've had great competition from all the way back to mat drills. Whether it's the new guys or the returning players, new players within our program that have new opportunity to go win jobs, and so guys are showing up with purpose and with passion, with the intensity that you want to see, with the physical toughness that the game demands, and so really thrilled with those things. If I was having to get guys to do those things in a better way, or if we were not meeting those standards, it wouldn't be a lot of fun. So saw a lot from the veterans that I really like, and again, a lot of first-year players that really love too. So got great competition, in particular in the at linebacker and at safety, at corner, and our back seven. Pretty good competition at that defensive end, and I really like our group of inside players, D tackle, and then offensive line wise. We got some bad news with Troy Everett. He's going to have a surgery, but we'll hope to see him back by the end of fall camp or so. And if anybody can do it, he will. And any position that you can do it, he will. And we got great doctors and a great plan for him. He's going to have his surgery tomorrow. But I really like where we're at. All things considered, watching these guys get better. Again, Josh Bates will slide in there and play some center, along with Josh Asosa. And then Garen Hatchett can always play center, play guard, can really play all 5 positions. But Jake Taylor and Jacob Sexton have done really well. Logan Howland, along with Spencer Brown and Michael Tarquin, those guys have all done a really nice job trying to gel together and learn. Some of the new guys learn what we need them to do. Again, young guy Isaiah Autry's been doing some really good things, and then again inside, like where we're at. Again, feel good about the guys that we have inside, and some of them have experience, and some of them don't have as much experience, but like what we have and what's coming, both. And really going to be we've got some great young players that have a chance to be really special, and hopefully we can get them to that point, to a winning level sooner rather than later. Our tight end group, when they're healthy, it's going to be a heck of a group. Even when we're semi-healthy there, we're in a little better position with more guys capable of playing. So again, Bauer Sharp has been really good. Prior to pulling his, just got a slight hamstring. Helms looked really good. And then Josh and Cade both have really flashed and done some really good things. And then Jake, we'll get Jake at some point in time here. I mean, he's a very experienced guy, and we know exactly what he's going to bring to the table. He's going to bring the physical toughness, as well as a really capable route runner, and catches the ball really well. And then receiver, got great competitive depth there. Love where we're at that position, both inside and outside. And got a good group of running backs with, again, experience in Sawchuck and Barnes and Hicks, and along with Sammy. He's done some really good things. Had several explosive plays. And again, overall, we've had a lot of explosive plays through the first 7 practices. And it's something that showed up every single day. Got good quarterbacks that can, have great vision, great instincts, good decision making. Starting with Jackson, and throw with accuracy, and do a good job from a leadership standpoint, and taking command of things. And then, General's done some really good things. All the young quarterbacks have. Mike Hawkins has done some really good things as well. and then trying to think, and then our kickers. Kickers have been really pleased with what we've seen from our kickers. Zach's been good. Keltner has been really good as well, super consistent. And then Liam Evans has really shown some great things too. And haven't gotten the live kicking when it comes to the punting and the kickoffs and all that. That'll be things that we do here on Thursday. We'll have a full scrimmage. So we've had a couple of days. We've had part of the practice of scrimmage and working on a lot of situational stuff right now and trying to take them to some dark places. That's what you got to do. And this is that time of the year where they got to take themselves and we got to take them too. As coaches, as we develop our team, our toughness, our mindset, our attitude, nurture how we do what we do, walk through that door, what that means, putting on the jersey, putting the pads on, coming to work. Practice number 7's over. You can't go back and do it again. So not wasting opportunities. Show up here again with purpose and with passion and the toughness this game requires. And our guys learning that you can't pay less than what it takes. And so I'm not surprising anybody when I tell them that. And so we've got the right guys in the locker room nurturing those things too from a leadership standpoint.
You've talked a lot about the defense and the experience returning. Going into your third year here, third spring, do you feel like it's starting to get to where, I know it's never perfect for you, but
yeah, at spots it is. And overall we do have another year in the system, and I just look at all the systems. I think it's important, and starting with just again the excitement that you need to have, the passion that you need to have, the focused intensity that you need to have, whether you're in segment meetings, team meeting, or you come to this practice field, if it's a walkthrough or if it's a 2-minute drill to win the game. All of it should require the same level of passion and intensity and the focus, and just again having a group of guys that are obsessed with the physical toughness, obsessed with developing our team, obsessed with the details, obsessed with having the right mindset every single day, and competing and winning. I want our guys to try to create as much competition as we can, and I want our guys to understand the value of winning and losing. And it should matter. Everything should matter. And we're going to grade every play from practice, and you should be incredibly disappointing if you don't get a winning grade at practice every single day. You want to be somebody that develops trust during this time of the year. You want to be somebody that develops your own toughness mentally and physically during this time of the year. And then you develop great habits. Goals and things like that are great for setting direction, but your habits and your guts, your will being stronger than your skill, your will and your habits are what's going to determine whether or not you're successful. And I want our guys to really buy into that. And so we're either breaking bad habits or old habits or creating new habits. And today's in the books. It's a wrap. There ain't nothing these guys can do about it, good or bad. And so, but on Thursday they get to start over. And it's a new beginning, and it's a day and a season and a moment all of its own. And I want our guys to really embrace that kind of a mindset. And when you do, you can maximize every opportunity that you have, whatever the opportunity looks like. So I want our guys to value and have a mindset of they get to do what they're doing, not got to do. They get to do it. And as a reminder, there'll be going to be a day that they can't play at Oklahoma anymore. They're not going to play anymore. They're going to have to hang the cleats up. And so, I want them all to be able to look back and have absolutely no regret whatsoever. And so this is because they don't know what they don't know, and so we got to create perspective. We got to create vision. We have to nurture. The proper perspective, those types of things. But we can't want their success more for them than they want it for themselves. But I love the leadership on our defense, the returning players. I got several guys that have a mindset like coach me like a freshman coach. Coach me like I know nothing, and I love that. Sign me up for that. And having the humility, first of all, as opposed to this is my third or my fourth year. Y'all lucky to have me back. I wouldn't tolerate that stance, but I love it. Get a 3 deep of guys that are like, I need to be coached. Again, I came back with purpose. I need to get better. And so the humility, the focus, the toughness, the leadership, they recognize that they're in leadership positions, and everybody's watching them, how they talk, how they practice, how they lead, everything matters. So I got a great respect and appreciation for that on both sides of the ball. Maybe it's a Jalil Farouk, on offense, or it's the growth and development of a guy like Jaden Gibson, or it's the buy-in and the toughness of a guy like a Bauer Sharp that just got here. And, man, he's trying to earn the respect of his teammates, or, Deion Burks, these guys that are showing up here with a sense of desperation. But I see it from lots of guys, guys are returning, and guys that just got out of here, out of high school, David Stone and Jaden Jackson, amongst others. They're, that group of young defensive linemen, man, they live in that building. They're in between classes, at night, after practice. They just want to get better. They want to have a role, and they're trying to develop that. So the hunger and the edge, and again, they're amongst several guys, several offensive linemen. Really excited about young guys like a Heath Ozida, and again, Logan Howland. I talked about him, Josh Bates. Man, we ain't got a tougher guy out here than Josh Bates. Man, he's a football player.
Of course, Casey Thompson was kind of banged up. But
yeah.
This is the first time that Jackson's going to have more than a month to get ready for his first game. Just talk about how he's doing in just that whole position.
Yeah, the whole position's doing really good. Brendan Zerberg, he's gotten lots of reps too. And but between Jackson and Mike and Brendan and Booty, Casey's taking every mental rep. He's right there next to me. And when we got the team settings, I feel great. We're in the best position we've been in since we've been here. And we got a lot to still learn and get better at. That goes without saying. But we've got more, again, competitive depth there. I think more guys that are showing the ability to be able to get in the game and help us win. And so I've been really pleased with both progress, leadership, again, situationally, decision making. We're really showing some really great signs particularly for some young guys that haven't, played a lot of college football. Things to be excited about. Again, decision making, accuracy, toughness, pocket presence, those types of things, leadership.
Brent, how about the physicality of practice? You always talk about that you got to see that out of your team. Are you seeing it out of your team?
Yeah, very much so. We talked about that post-practice today. You got to practice tough to play tough, and there's no way around that. And that's the name of the game. But we do have different tracking tempos and what we're allowed to do, from a regulation standpoint. And so if it's thud, it means we keep people off the ground. You got to learn to practice the right way. We showed them a clip of the Carolina Panthers, and they're practicing, and they're in tracking mode, which is, keep everybody up, and nobody should really be contacting anybody. And Skelly and the rookie lit up the guy that's making a lot of money, and then we flipped it to post-practice, and the report that the meathead that ran into the highly paid receiver was fired and cut right then and there before the last player was off the field at practice. So, that's a real thing. You don't do things the right way, like show up on time or whatever. There's consequences. We give them a little grace in a locker room, but when they leave here, so practicing the right way is a sign of a mature team that cares and that understands, and that there's a great focus to them, on how we got to get better and take care of each other.
What about you, Brent? How have things changed for you in practice in year 3, whether it's your just natural progression as a coach, or having Zach here, or whatever? Has that dynamic changed here this spring?
I think that there's more depth from an experience standpoint of myself and Zach and our other defensive coaches than maybe what we had before. And so there's a different level of trust and understanding, You know, Zach thinks more like me, and then does a good job no matter what it is. If it's the fundamentals, if it's areas of weakness, if it's development drills, or if it's scheme-wise and situationally. So we work through a lot before we come out to practice, and I'm always going to be hands-on. But you know, I'm also trying to do what a head coach needs to be able to do, and that's get connected with other aspects of your team. You can't just be all in one particular area. You got to have your all hands on deck everywhere. And so that's been a maturation from December of 5th of 21 to where we're at now. And the practice-wise, what we're doing from a schedule standpoint, those types of things are very similar to what we did, a year ago. But we've given our guys 4 straight Fridays off, and a lot of coaches like to practice them on Saturday so you can keep them out of harm's way, if you will. But the game has become so demanding from a year-round standpoint, from a time standpoint. So trying to find ways to give the players time. That's one thing that they love, is time. And so we've given them 4 straight weekends off. This weekend we won't be. We'll have let them sleep in. We'll practice around 10:30 on Saturday. But try to be mindful for the players, and put a schedule that we can get our work done, but also be mindful of recovery and their time, those types of things.
A lot of players said Zach's almost like a clone out there of you, and that he sometimes maybe teaches things a little bit differently, and they understand it maybe in a different way. How big of a help has he been so far, just teaching some of those guys?
Yeah, no, it's I'm sure there's how we call things. I think scheme-wise it's pretty much the same, but how we call things, maybe in families, to make it make sense. When you have to leave, just like when I left Oklahoma after the 2011 season, I had to start over. I got into a room, and nobody knew what I knew. Nobody. And one of the hardest things I've done from a professional standpoint. And I couldn't take my relationships, my trust, all my expertise, football acumen. I had to start over. And then the language barrier, there's whatever it was. There's 80 staff and defensive players, and that I had to teach them, And so if that was not, I had to figure out what they knew. And I didn't have anybody helping me. I didn't take anybody with me. And so I say that, Zach doesn't necessarily have that, but when he did leave several years ago and got out of, our football building, and he had to go to several places and start over and build something from scratch and teach everybody around him, I think he probably learned maybe even more efficient ways to do it. And so he's been able to give, some of those shortcuts, if you will, to help expeditiously, develop our players, teach our players. And so we've had a little bit, some new language, some new things to go in, but just reorganizing, I think, is that we cleaned the pantry out and we threw away stuff that, that we didn't need anymore, and we reorganized it. And so now all the cereals are on the far right, on the bottom 2 shelves. They're not spread out, and that's where they belong. And just keep things nice and tidy, I guess, is the best way to express it.
Brent, have there been any pleasant surprises, whether it be an individual or just about this team so far in spring?
Yeah, there's been lots of them. There's been lots. Again, some of the young, returning offensive linemen have been really good. I've said several of their names already. Daniel from England, he's been, fantastic, along with Fabechi, and again, Heath Ozida and Brooks, Josh Asosa, those guys inside. And talked about, bragged on Logan Howland at the beginning of spring and the progress that he's been able to make. And then we're getting the best version out of Jake Taylor and Jacob Sexton as well, that you would expect that. I was really excited about Helms, and he got a little bit of a strain in his hamstring. We just want to make sure we don't make it worse and then miss time in the summer. But I expect him to maybe be back here this week. But I love what I saw from him. He can run, and you can feel his presence when he's out there. He's huge. And then again, talked about Bauer Sharp, and then Von Mitchell has done some really good things. He's not just from a receiving standpoint, learn how to block and how to mix it up with some All-American type linebackers. I love our group of linebackers. We are as far away from where we were 2 years ago as you could be at linebacker. The development, the depth, what it looks like. What I really like about this linebacking group, and Zach and Skowski, they've done a nice job of developing, position versatility. And so we got several guys that are playing multiple positions to create depth, more opportunity. So when a guy gets banged up, you're not limited with your options. And so, but that's been the heart and soul, one of the great leadership groups. I love where Ethan Downs, the game has slowed down for him. He's playing fast and physical. And then you got a guy like Trace Ford that's played a lot of football. I'm really excited about what PJ is. He's a little over 250 pounds today, looked great. Caden Woolard, you can tell he's played a lot of football, knows how to play, he's heavy-handed, plays quick, he's long, he's big. And then, again, we've got some really good young players, whether it's Taylor Wine or, again, thinking about the guys inside, but Nigel Smith, his versatility as well. I feel like I'm missing somebody there at defensive end, but our inside guys, starting with DJ Terry, has been a great leader, really great leader. And then, I really think that Grayson is going to play his best football since he's been here. He's pushing 295, looks really good. And then Devon Sears, he's playing his best. He's the most improved probably of that group of returning players. And he's powerful. He's close to 300 pounds. He's got great quickness, really strong at the point of attack, heavy hand, but he can rush the passer. And then, Champ Sanders has been doing great. And then I know it's been talked about a lot with Jaden and Stone and Marcus Strong, those guys. And we're better at corner right now than at any point in time a year ago. Some of it's experience, a lot of it's experience. We had a lot of guys that never started a college game. The only guy that ever started a college game in last year's squad, going into last year, was Woody Washington. And so that was a little, concerning. But I really like where we're at. Everybody's better than what we were a year ago. And I know there's a few guys like Gentry that are out for the spring, but we've got a really improved group of players. And then the young guys that we've brought in, whether it's Eli Bowen can go anywhere in the secondary and play. Right now the game's easy for Eli, but I'm really excited about Jacoby Johnson, Kenai Walker, certainly we got a transfer. You guys saw him out here, number 12. Yes. Dez has done some great things. You can tell he's played corner for a long time. Again, a year ago, we had several really good athletes that had not played much corner growing up. And at times it showed that lack of skill development for the position. But, man, again, I just named a couple of guys that are playing in a much different place than what we were a year ago. They're big, long, fast, athletic. And Kendall Dolby, he's one of the most disruptive players on our whole defense. He can play anywhere. He plays like he's 7'5" and 250 pounds. He's wide open. And then, again, I like, Desan McCullough. He can play outside, can play inside. And, again, trying to help guys develop. I know every one of these guys want to play a long time. We want to try to help put them in position to get them exposure to what that looks like long term. And, so a guy like Deshaun, he's going to play outside in the NFL, and he's going to play inside as well. I don't want to, pigeonhole him. So we've been cross training lots of guys at lots of positions, and again our safeties, really excited about them. And again, I think we lost some good ones last year as far as experience in Reggie and Key in particular. But we got, again, Billy and RJ and Peyton as your cornerstones coming back, along with some really good young ones. And been excited. McCarty's having his first time as a football player has been this spring. He hasn't taken any reps. He coming off the ACL, and then he tore his hamstring like the first day of conditioning coming back, and missed all last year. And but so he's getting looks, and then you got again Reggie and Boganowski and 14 from Jaden Hardy. He's ain't nothing he can't do. He can play corner, he can play cheetah, he can play safety. Football, again, is easy for him. So we've got some really good football players with returning, and then a lot of our new guys. They find the ball. They know how to maintain leverage. They understand the difference and the stresses of 2 deep, 3 deep, quarters, man-to-man. Confident players, but they show up with great humility and an eagerness to work and compete. So as opposed to, hey, this is the first time they failed, they never really got chewed out, they've always been the guy, and so there's a transition because they can't get out of their own feelings. That's not an issue with any of our guys. None. Zero. There's not a more humble, hardworking guy on our team than David Stone right now. And, and he'd be the first to tell you, man, I got a lot to learn, a lot to get better at. But, man, he's showing up every day with that mindset. That's how you do it. And we try to recruit that. We try to be very intentional about that. And then sometimes you just get lucky. You got good parents and good environments that they come from, a great locker room that they come from. Like, Reggie coming from Centerville. Like, man, that's a program right there in the state of Ohio, in a state that has great football programs, top to bottom. He's coming from a program that is about something, and so he's brought a lot of that with him. And some things that you can't bring with you, just like when I went to Clemson, couldn't take 13 years of relationships and credibility with me. Had to go and start over with all of those. And just like these guys, they got to earn trust, earn relationships, develop a reputation by showing up every day, earning the respect of their teammates by how they do what they do, and can't bring the stars or the tackles, the sacks, the touchdowns with you. You got to start completely over, and again, it takes a special dude to do that. Because these are 17 and 18-year-old guys, not 24 and 28 and 30-year-old guys. So that's what I've, just as a 53-year-old coach who's been a part of a locker room for 35 years in college as a player and a coach, those are things that get me excited, and both in the short term and the long term as you build things the right way. And because I want guys that are multipliers, guys that are going to reproduce who they are, reproduce in their own environments. And and so if that's excellence and hard work and toughness and consistency and especially elite talent and leadership skills, then that's great. We'll reproduce that in our own locker room.
You brought up Woody. What have you seen from him this spring in terms of the adjustment to playing multiple positions?
Yeah, just that it's all easy to him, and again an eagerness to have a great role and show, again, versatility. So he's done some of that in the past, but more of it, now than ever. Corner is, it's one of the hardest positions to play, but from an X and O standpoint, not really difficult. And so that part's good, and he still plays both every day, inside and outside, and so really excited where he's at. He's a leader, he's a tough guy, he's always making guys better. he's a guy that's going to celebrate all of his teammates' success all the time.
Coach, what goes into the preparation for the next open portal window? Be that evaluating potential needs and wants for your own team, or just having to deal with the ever-present threat and potential of a departure from your own roster that maybe you weren't anticipating?
Yeah, well, you just got to stay ready, I think, is the biggest thing. You got to, so if that means that you're certainly always assessing your own team and, where you're at, and you're hoping that everybody stays, but that's not, likely in this environment. And so you just be ready and prepared to adjust when it happens, and be proactive from, what that's going to look like and where your needs might be, and being prepared based on what, from an availability standpoint, who might be available. And a lot of that you don't know. And so, again, if it was the NFL, who's getting ready to be a free agent. you can have like a real board that says, all right, these are the free agents. Well, that window is a small window, so you try to stay aware in college football. But I'm not going it's always about finding and meeting our needs of this team 130, and addressing those first. So in many ways it's kind of simple, but there are some preparation things that you have a staff that is always prepared. They understand the landscape of college football and who's doing what, and so.
Are there any position groups that you've looked at and you said maybe we could use another body or two there?
Yeah, but I'm not really gonna, talk through that. But yeah, for sure, that's part of it.